Have you ever wondered how a machine heavier than a skyscraper gets transported? How do you move a giant excavator through the desert or float an oil platform across the ocean? What you're about to see isn't science fiction. It's the most extreme, colossal, and real side of modern engineering. Today we bring you 7 heavy machinery transports so beastly, so massive, that it's hard to believe they actually happen. Convoys with 100 wheels, buildings that walk, and parts weighing hundreds of tons moving across air, land, and sea like it's nothing. Get comfortable, because you're about to discover what humanity is capable of when it pushes technology to the absolute limit. Let's go! Top 1. The Liebherr R 9,800 excavator crossing the Australian desert. It weighs over 800 tons and can lift 80 tons of material in a single scoop. This colossal excavator was purchased by a mine in Australia, and its transport was just as extreme as its size. The machine was completely disassembled and moved using 52 heavy trucks. Each part, from the engine to the massive front shovel, was loaded onto specialized trailers with hydraulic suspension, satellite tracking, and security escorts. Just the hydraulic arm alone weighed 110 tons and required a 20-axle platform and synchronized mobile cranes. For days, the convoy crossed arid zones, dirt roads, and reinforced asphalt under constant technical supervision. Once at the mine, reassembly took over a week. The result? A mechanical beast ready to devour tons of earth day and night, a transport from another planet. Top 2. The Bertha tunnel boring machine sliding under Seattle. With a diameter of 17.5 meters and weighing over 6,200 tons, this underground titan was designed to bore tunnels in one of the densest cities in the US, Seattle. But before it could dig, it had to get there. It was dismantled into 41 sections, the heaviest, 900 tons. Transport was carried out using self-propelled modular transporters moving at less than 3 kilometers per hour. Every turn, bridge, and traffic light was an engineering challenge. The most impressive part, the tunnel boring machine's core had to keep rotating during transport to balance internal masses and avoid structural instability. After reassembly, it worked for years, drilling over 3 kilometers beneath the city. But its first true achievement was simply arriving. Top 3. The 500-ton nuclear reactor crossing Argentina. In Formosa, northern Argentina, a 500-ton nuclear reactor had to be transported over 1,200 kilometers by land to its final destination. The problem? There was no infrastructure ready for such an operation. The solution was to build a custom modular convoy with 160 wheels, designed specifically for the task. It advanced at just 1.5 kilometers per hour, controlled by computer, with weight monitoring, brake temperature sensors, tilt meters, and vibration controls. For 27 days, technicians, engineers, police, electric crews, and road personnel worked together to reinforce bridges, modify curves, and even build temporary concrete bases in critical areas. In some sections, progress was only 400 meters per hour, a transport that was as slow as it was precise. But it became a symbol of what patience and engineering can achieve together. Top 4. Transporting the P-55 oil platform. Brazil had to move a 52,000-ton structure to the open sea. We're not talking about a ship, but a complete oil platform, the gigantic P-55. The operation used a semi-submersible vessel. First, the ship partially submerged into the water. Then, the platform was carefully positioned on its deck. And finally, the vessel surfaced, carrying a floating city the size of a 20-story building. It took more than 2 days just to align it. A deviation of just a few centimeters could cause structural failure. Once stabilized, the platform traveled over 300 kilometers to its offshore destination, where it was anchored with surgical precision. A transport so impressive it was documented as a milestone in modern naval engineering. Top 5. The mega transformer through the mountains in Peru. An electric company needed to install a 290-ton transformer in the high Andes Mountains. But the only route was made of dirt roads, cliffs, and impossible curves. The solution was to build an exclusive access path, cut hillsides, reinforce slopes, and create mobile bridges, just so a 20-axle trailer could slowly crawl through 70 kilometers of mountain. In some areas, the trailer had to reverse, guided by drones and proximity sensors, with cliffs just inches away. Over 70 people worked for a month on this operation, each movement monitored from a command center. A high-altitude feat that only the boldest would attempt. Top 6. Transporting industrial turbines in the Antonov in 225. In Canada, a factory needed to move 2 industrial turbines weighing 180 tons each. To do it, they called in the largest aircraft on the planet, the legendary Antonov and 225 Murria. But before flying, the turbines had to reach the airport. They were loaded onto 18-axle hydraulic trucks with active suspension and constant tilt monitoring. Each trailer was escorted by 4 security vehicles and aerial drones. The 100-kilometer land trip took 17 hours. The pieces were so massive that power lines had to be lifted and intersections modified. Once in the plane, the cargo was secured with 64 independent straps and pressure sensors. When it took off, the Antonov made history once again, carrying the power of an entire industrial plant in its belly. Top 7. The school building that walked in Shanghai. In China, a historic 5-story school building weighing 7,600 tons had to be relocated to make way for urban development. But instead of demolishing it, they decided to move the entire building. Over 200 robotic legs were placed underneath the structure. Each one could lift, move forward a few centimeters, and set down again. Working in sync, they moved the entire building 62 meters without cracks, breaks, or wobbling. The process took 18 days. Engineers monitored the building's center of mass, tilt, and vibrations in real time. The terrain was also adapted with sensors to ensure there were no collapses. The result was so impressive it was nicknamed the building that walked, and it became one of the most extraordinary structural transports in the world. And there you have it. 7 transports so brutal, so extreme, and so unbelievable that they seem fake. But they're real, and each one is a challenge overcome by modern engineering. From excavators crossing deserts to buildings literally walking on robotic legs. This isn't just construction. It's a show of strength, precision, and cutting-edge technology. Tell us in the comments which one was your favorite. Were you more impressed by the Seattle tunnel boring machine, the Antonov carrying turbines, or the walking building in Shanghai? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here we always show you the most extreme, the most beastly, and the most real side of engineering. See you in the next video.